Hey.
Alright, y'all, just wrapped up watching the game between the Detroit Pistons and the Miami Heat. It was a much better game than I think a lot of people expected. The Pistons almost snuck one away on the road in Miami. Would have been a very impressive dub, but they could not get it done at the buzzer. And while you can certainly make a big fuss about the Miami Heat almost blowing a 19-point fourth quarter lead, I think the biggest headline easily is the fact that Cade Cunningham, returning from injury, had a huge game, dropped 30 points, 9 assists to go with 3 rebounds, a steal and a block, and was overall just absolutely tremendous and a joy to watch. Now, something I want to clear up really quick because I saw a whole bunch of debates on Twitter. It was a great performance. People were getting caught up because he took 27 shots on his way to getting 30 points, and that was because he didn't take any free throws. Literally didn't make one, didn't even attempt one, and it's not like he shot inefficiently. He shot 13 of 27, just a hair under 50%. He was 4 of 9 from 3. Those are really efficient shooting numbers. I don't think there's any reason to be upset with his shot diet in this one. Now, to get more specific about the shot diet itself, it was the same old Cade bread and butter that we got used to his rookie season. He was absolutely picking apart the Miami defense off of screens, getting into that mid-range area and pulling up, whether it was with a quick little ball fake before or just a straight dribble into the pull-up off the screen. He was absolute butter. Again, it was an absolute joy to watch because he just makes it look so effortless. And as I mentioned, he was also 4 of 9 from deep. He had one really nice pull-up 3 in Bam Adebayo's face. Outside of that, all his other 3-point hits were catch and shoot opportunities, which is a good sign to show that he can also play off the ball, and he's ready to shoot and let it fly in those scenarios as well. And the rest of Cade Cunningham's scoring came from drives to the rim. This is another facet of his game that I was very intrigued in, especially again coming off of the injury. But he looked good as ever, taking it strong to the rim, even with defense pressuring him and getting in his face and contesting the shot. He still made it look very easy to finish over the defenders. And one thing that I thought was kind of cool, I saw some people on Twitter saying this, that they the Cade Cunningham reminds them of a taller, like 6'7" Chris Paul, which I didn't see at first, but after actually watching the game back, I can understand why the comparison is being made. Much like CP3, Cade Cunningham is a mid-range assassin. He loves toying with the defense. He's extremely patient in pick and roll, much like Chris Paul was back in his day and still is now. So while they're definitely big shoes to fill, I do think Cade Cunningham is a good bet to eventually fill those shoes one day. Especially since it's not just scoring that Cunningham is good at, he's also a very gifted passer as well. As I mentioned, he had 9 assists, did have 3 turnovers, but that's still a solid assist to turnover ratio. And these weren't just boring, lame, one pass to an open guy assists. A lot of them were really nice pieces of playmaking by Cade. For starters, the Cade and Duren pick and roll continues to be extremely profitable for this Detroit offense. Whether it's a lob or Cade just drops a nice little pocket pass to the rolling Duren, if they get either one of those guys ahead of steam going to the rim, it's usually a pretty easy bucket. He also had this really nice one-handed laser pass into Isaiah Stewart, who was sealing off his man in the paint. That was perfectly on the money, a good dot. And then late in the game, when the Pistons were making their fourth quarter push, he also had this really nice no-look assist that went to Alec Burks for a big 3-point shot. Now, as for the rest of the Pistons, they got off to a pretty sloppy start in the first half. I think they had something like 15 turnovers. But they cleaned up in the second half. Their defense was very hit or miss throughout this game. I feel like it's safe to say that it was terrible outside of that one fourth quarter stretch when they went on a big 15-0 run. Another big storyline for the Pistons from this game is that Killian Hayes got the start over Jaden Ivey, which was a bit of a mystery for a lot of Pistons fans, but I do understand why they did it. Killian Hayes is a good defender. I'm not going to speak on his offense, but he's a good defender, unlike Jaden Ivey, who continues to be just a little reckless with the ball and is a bit of a, turnstile when it comes to playing defense. I don't think this is any reason to worry though if you're holding on to some Jaden Ivey stock. He finished last season extremely well, and although again it has been a rough preseason and first game for him, I still believe in the talent. Plus, if we're being honest with ourselves, Killian Hayes will probably just continue to not make shots until Monty Williams is forced to take him out of the starting lineup. Asar Thompson was pretty good, had a bunch of blocks, had 3 very quick blocks like the first 2 minutes, ended the game with 5. Couldn't buy a basket other than the 1 3-point shot he hit, but again, really good first game for the Asar Thompson Truthers. Outside of that, I liked what I saw from Marcus Sasser. I'm excited to see what he's got for this team moving forward. And I'm happy that Monty Williams agreed with me on the Bagley over Wiseman take that I had earlier this offseason. Now switching over to the Miami Heat real quick to wrap this video up. It was pretty much the same old stuff from Miami. You know, get out to a lead, hold the lead. They did almost slip in the fourth quarter as their offense just came grinding to a halt. Jimmy Butler was doing typical Jimmy Butler stuff. Bam Adebayo was doing typical Bam Adebayo stuff. Tyler Herro had a pretty rough shooting night in his first game back. I expect that, you know, once he starts to get going, their half-court offense will probably look a little bit better at the very least. But outside of that, 2 guys that really impressed me for the Heat from this game. First one was Drew Smith, who I'm in shambles over this because they really, I mean, obviously he's not as good as Gabe Vincent is at this point, but he's essentially a solid Gabe Vincent replacement that I swear to God, they just found him off the street somewhere. I've never heard of this guy in my life prior to a few weeks ago. But he just hops on the court and plays some pretty stellar defense. He didn't make any shots, but I have seen in the past that he can knock down threes at a pretty solid rate. So Miami Heat, man, I don't know how they do it. But they also seem to have found a really good player in Jaime Jaquez Jr. He didn't do too much this game, had a nice stretch during his first stint, and then got another bucket later, but yeah, he was absolutely cooking in his few minutes that he got in this game. He finished with 6 points, 3 of 3 shooting from the field, also had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. All 3 of his buckets were so textbook with the footwork, the triple threat, pump fakes, driving, all of that good fundamental stuff. It was absolute butter. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how they use him from here on out because at the very least, he'll be a really, really good bench piece that could probably give Jimmy Butler some more rest than he's had in recent years for this Heat team. But that's all I got for this game. As always, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe, all those good things, and I will see you all in the next one.